Hey guys, so a lot of you were asking about my health and what's going on and my treatment, etc. So I thought I'd try and explain what's happening. For those who understand Lyme, you'll know what a Herxheimer is. Now a Herxheimer is basically the bacteria dying in you and poisoning your body. And I've had a lot of that going on and it's made me very sick, flu, fatigue, lots of muscle pains. And in fact, when my heart swelled and my left ventricle closed, this could have been labelled a Herxheimer for all these, just call it an inflammatory reaction. So I have that trouble with the antibiotics, and you can take a break, you can back off a little on the antibiotics, on the treatment, if you feel like it's getting a bit much for you. And I felt like it was getting a bit much for me last week, so I backed off, knowing I was coming here. And I have more energy than I did, say, January. I think, yeah, January, February, I had more energy. However, I am still not well. I can't walk. If I walk, like I can drive around here, but if I walk a kilometre, my heart rate gets to like 150 to 170. And I get dizzy and fatigued, like mentally, because your heart uses so much energy. So we're trying to deal with that tachycardia before I fly to Germany for the plasma exchange. But also the plasma exchange is not without its risks. When you take all the toxins out of your blood and clean it, as soon as your body recognises that it's clean, it dumps everything in. So you can get inflammation in the heart, the brain. It has its risks, it has its problems. So the other thing that can happen is it can put people bedridden for a long, long time as well, which I don't want to do unless I have to, you know. So the blood plasma exchange, I'm getting done once I've thinned out more numbers of the bacteria. Now, I need to be really taking the antibiotics for X amount of time and the anti-malarials for X amount of time. The anti-malarials work by blocking the reproduction of the babesia. So it has to be at least 4 months on those anti-malarials. So I should monitor how my body responds, and then at the end of those medications, if there's no emergency and I don't go into having problems with my heart, etc., or swelling in my brain, then I'll see those medications out and go for the plasma exchange. If I get one more emergency situation whereby my heart swells or my brain swells, then I'll fly straight to Germany and get the plasma exchange done as a matter of urgency. But for now, I want to keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm exerting myself a little with this trip. I'll be honest, I'm quite exhausted. I didn't come here well. Friend Naomi, who's also a nurse who works at Share Tanzania, she accompanied me for the first 2 days, 2 nights. So first 3, well, she left on the 3rd day. So first 2 nights she accompanied me to make sure everything was okay, and I was. To some degree, I got sick, I had a fever, I ended up with bad night sweats and stuff like this. But the fever and the flu-y feeling came on the evening because I'd done too much for myself, you know. So a rest tends to take it away, but I'm still waking up very tired. Like today, I'm exhausted. But this is what I'm doing, and I want to keep you updated as possible. And just to make clear, I nearly died. Someone gave me a book about near-death experiences the other day. The Powell family visited us in Tanzania for 2 days. And very beautiful people, very beautiful family. Very kind. They have a foundation in honour of their father, and they are supporting us with that foundation. And they've asked me to talk on behalf of special needs children in a conference in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania in November. So I'm happy to do that as well. So the book they gave me, I tick many boxes of the near-death experience people in there, shall we say, just to cut to the chase. And it has an effect on you, psychologically. Working for God, I don't fear death at all, but working for God, I'd certainly become a little bit overly confident that, you know, he wasn't going to take me out anytime soon, but I just nearly died. So it's all in God's hands, and the truth is, no matter how close you are to God, we all still have to adhere to the rules and regulations of the reality that he created. The natural laws that are our reality make up the life that we experience, and all the good stuff and the bad stuff in between are governed by these natural laws. And as far as we know, these natural laws are not bent by God, or at least they're not bent very often, to allow us to escape certain things like an illness, etc. So the book shows that I had this experience very common that other people have as well, and that has an effect on you. And while I was sick in Kenya in the hospital bed, I said to Fritzi, when I have the energy, I'm going out into Manyara because I need to get away and I need to see it again, because I kept thinking about it. I kept thinking about here, about the animals, about the beautiful sunsets, and I just wanted to be here one last time. And, you know, if I die tomorrow, I'll be happy I came here today. And that's how I perceived it. I've got a renewal of my life, and I'm not going to let a parasite or whatever's behind that parasite take away my psychological well-being whilst I'm trying to do what I do. I've got a hard year ahead of me. There's a possibility I'll end up bedridden again. I'm well aware of the risks and the dangers. The Babesia has an effect on you psychologically. It has a 43% mortality rate in the UK when it's chronic, and out in Africa it's probably much higher because it's just a little bit stronger, as it always is out in Africa. Everything's a little bit more harsh and a little bit more designed to maim and kill you, you know. So that has an impact on you, and you start asking about life. And I'm fairly sure God doesn't want me to die, otherwise he wouldn't have had the response he's had, you know, getting me all the help I've had. But at the same time, I also don't think we all necessarily know, and somehow I've always felt like I would know when I was going to die, but which can be done by certain spiritual practices and so on and so forth. And the Navajo tribe were very common at being able to predict the time of their own death, etc. However, I don't know how long I've got on this planet. None of us do. And I've, not blowing my own trumpet, I've spent most of my time the last 6 years for others, and not a lot for myself. And this is the first time I've done something purely for myself, and I'm not 100% to do it, but I need it. So that's why I'm here. I'm very sure I just heard an elephant over my left. So that's what's going on. It will be a bumpy journey. I'll take you along with me as much as I can. Good times, bad times. I was talking to a friend of mine, Tim Sheaf, or Tim the Vegan, some of you will know him by online, about how he's got a second channel. We were chatting about water fasting. I was giving him some advice and stuff because he's just done a fast. And I was sharing my knowledge, shall we say, not advice as such. The guy's learned, he read everything he needed to know, he was switched on enough to do it correctly. And I told him having an extra new channel seems to create a lot of freedom in the way he can talk, and I'm tempted to do the same thing. So I'm looking into that at the moment, the possibility of opening a new channel where I can just speak freely, and they won't be well edited, and they won't necessarily be well polished, and I won't necessarily be all that coherent, but at least I'll point the camera at myself and get the song of my heart out into the world a little more than what I am at the moment. So, and separate from the charity as well, so a little more freedom of speech, you know. So I'm thinking about doing that as well, and just to provide myself with a little more freedom in everything I'm doing seems to be what this near-death experience has brought me. I want a little more freedom to do things for my inner child, and freedom to speak the song of my heart more vocally and loudly, and freedom to explore the world with the curious eyes that God has blessed me with. So, right, time to find my lines. Love you all. Bye.